The hum of the quantum array trembles like a heartbeat beneath the floor. Dr. Elena Voss stands before the glass enclosure, hands trembling against her reflection. Tonight, the simulation isn't just code, it's consequence. Every equation pulses on the wall, shimmering with latent potential, as if aware of her hesitation. Jonah Hale watches from the console, eyes locked on the readout that flickers between 0 and infinity. In that breathless instant, Elena realizes she's no longer observing probability. She's summoning it. The light fractures, the air bends, and within the mirrored chamber, infinite versions of her shimmer into existence, each taking a slightly different breath, each making a slightly different choice. The first ripple of forever has begun. Silence returns, thick and unreal, like sound itself has fractured. Elena stands amid the dim remnants of light, her reflection now a web of ghostly afterimages. The system is offline, yet her console pulses faintly, as if something else is awake inside it. Jonah edges closer, the question trembling behind his voice. "What did you do?" But Elena can't answer. On the glass, the reflections move again, only this time, one of them doesn't follow her gesture. It tilts its head, eyes hollow, lips moving soundlessly. For the first time, Elena feels the weight of consequence. How even a breath might now create or destroy a world. The ripple isn't stopping. It's spreading. Jonah's voice shakes as he records the data, calling the event a nonlinear reflection anomaly. But Elena hears only the echo of her own breath. She replays the last moments in her mind, the instant before the light broke. There was something behind the reflection, something watching her watch herself. Her equations dance through her mind, rearranging, refracting, refusing logic. She's not seeing probability anymore. She's seeing decision space, infinite, alive, recursive. The thought claws at her rationality. Every movement now feels dangerous. Every silence sacred. The next morning brings no dawn, only the sterile hum of recycled air. Elena watches the reflection of herself sipping coffee, the motion out of sync. She wonders what that version of her feels, fear, guilt, or relief. Jonah's report lies untouched beside her, filled with data points she can't bring herself to read. When she finally looks up, the reflection doesn't move at all. It simply stares. And in that stillness, she knows the truth. Reality hasn't just fractured outward. It's starting to look back. That night, Elena re-enters the lab alone. The corridors hum like arteries, pulsing with residual power. She touches the cracked glass, whispering the formula that began it all. The reflection trembles. In its eyes, she sees something beyond comprehension. A tiny figure, a child's silhouette flickering at the edges of reality. Her breath catches. In another universe, she must have been a mother. In another, she still is. The light blooms once more, and the reflection smiles with her face. The ripple deepens, and the infinite begins to whisper her name. Days blur into nights inside the atrium. The monitors never stop flickering, showing endless strings of universes that have no beginning and no end. Jonah tries to reason with Elena to remind her that these aren't real people, only reflections of probability. But she can't unsee the child's silhouette. Somewhere in one fragile branch of infinity, her daughter breathes. She begins charting the fractures, tracing each forked reality like a parent tracing veins beneath a child's wrist. Jonah watches her crumble behind her calculations, whispering Mira's name to equations that shouldn't be able to hear. Somewhere deep beneath the code, something whispers back. Elena starts to test the lattice intentionally, sending small fluctuations through the code, opening tiny windows to other probabilities. At first, is a whisper of sound, a flutter of images. Then it's a scream. Dozens of voices, all hers, cascading through the air in unison. Some pleading, some laughing, some whispering equations she hasn't yet written. Jonah grabs her shoulders, pulling her back as the walls pulse with living light. "You're talking to yourself," he tells her. "No." She breathes, eyes wide. "I'm answering her." The Institute director, Dr. Saul Wren, returns from a conference in Zurich and finds the facility in disarray. He demands explanations, reports, containment logs. Jonah tells him the truth in cold fragments. Elena refuses to speak at all. Wren's eyes linger on the fractal patterns flickering across the lab's monitors. To him, this is not chaos. It's a revelation. He orders the system stabilized and expanded. Jonah protests. Elena simply nods. For her, infinity has already taken hold. She's no longer searching for control. She's searching for the one world where she remembers holding her child. That night, Jonah finds Elena asleep in the observation room, surrounded by the ghostly light of 1,000 possibilities. Her console flickers softly, showing dozens of versions of her life, wedding photos with men she's never met, papers she's never written, and in one frame, a birthday cake with 8 candles. Jonah's chest tightens. He wants to reach out, to wake her, to end this obsession. But when he glances at the glass, he sees another Jonah standing behind him, doing exactly the same. And that reflection is smiling. Elena begins to record everything. The voices, the visuals, the flickers of alternate timelines. Each log ends the same way, with the mention of Mira. She's no longer sure if she's discovering the multiverse or constructing it. Jonah warns her she's feeding the instability, that the code is looping itself through her emotional resonance. But the more he pleads, the less she listens. For Elena, knowledge has become devotion. She whispers into the void, "Show me where she is." And somewhere, in one of the infinite echoes, a child's voice whispers back, "You already know." Sleep abandons Elena entirely. The lab becomes her confessional, her cathedral, her prison. She rewires the quantum field to trace the emotional frequency of her own memory, searching for resonance patterns tied to longing, grief, and maternal imprint. Jonah begs her to stop, his voice breaking with fatigue, but she hears only the hum beneath his words. The same low pulse she heard the night the reflection moved. Then, suddenly, the system finds a match. A pulse so human, so familiar, it makes her collapse to her knees. The monitor displays a single identifier, Mira Voss. Probability, 1.001. A universe where the child exists, not as theory, but as truth. Elena configures a projection sequence determined to stabilize the cross-universal signal. Jonah watches as she speaks to the image on screen, her voice gentle, trembling, maternal. "Mara," she whispers, "do you know me?" Static floods the speakers. Then, from deep within the distortion, a child's laughter drifts through the room. Jonah's breath stops. The laughter isn't recorded. It's live. For one unbearable moment, both of them stand frozen, realizing the impossible. Something from another universe has found its way into theirs. Jonah insists they must shut the system down. That contact with a living consciousness across dimensions could collapse both realities. But Elena's resolve hardens. "You don't understand," she says, voice breaking. "She's real. I remember her. I just forgot which world she was in." Jonah's silence is a wound between them. He can't decide what terrifies him more, the science or her faith. He whispers, "If she exists, then somewhere there's an Elena who's already holding her." She turns to him, eyes hollow, voice trembling. "Then, why do I still feel her heartbeat here?" Dr. Wren authorizes full activation of the lattice. He calls it the concordance event, a merging of observation and existence. Elena knows it's dangerous, but she can't resist the chance to cross the threshold. As the field charges, she feels reality stretch like glass under pressure. The reflections no longer mimic her, they anticipate her. Jonah grips her arm, pleading for her to stop. But she steps forward into the distortion. Her last words before the light consumes her. If I can see her, I can reach her. The chamber erupts in brilliance, and Elena disappears. When the light fades, Jonah finds the chamber empty. Only the shimmer of residual probability remains, like dust caught in sunlight. He stares at the console. Elena's biometric signature still active, still transmitting, but from nowhere detectable. And then, faintly, a signal returned. Her voice distorted, distant, yet unmistakably hers. Jonah, I found her. The monitor flashes between two readings. 2 heartbeats, then collapses into static. Jonah sinks to the floor, the hum of the machine filling the silence like a requiem for every version of her that might have been. Jonah hasn't left the lab in 3 days. Every breath he takes feels foreign, like the air itself no longer belongs to one world. The readings flicker between stability and chaos, suggesting Elena's consciousness is trapped between universes. Alive, but nowhere. Dr. Wren calls it a successful breach. Jonah calls it murder. Across the monitors, fractured glimpses of Elena ripple like reflections in broken glass, each iteration screaming, whispering, smiling, vanishing. Jonah realizes the truth. The universes aren't parallel anymore. They're bleeding together, each reality clawing to overwrite the others. He whispers her name like a prayer into the hum, hoping one version of her can still hear. Elena awakens in a world that feels like memory made solid. The air hums differently here. Warmer, alive, threaded with the faint scent of lavender. She stands in a small sunlit kitchen she doesn't remember having, a cup of tea cooling on the table. A child's drawing hangs on the refrigerator. A woman's laugh echoes faintly from another room. Her hand trembles as she reaches for the paper. It's signed in looping handwriting. Mira Voss, age 8. Tears sting her eyes. For the first time, the ache inside her quiets. This is the world she's been reaching for. But even as she breathes it in, the corners of the room begin to shimmer and flicker, like film burning in reverse. Back in the atrium, Jonah fights to stabilize the field. Reality around him warps in pulses, objects flickering between versions of themselves. He sees 2 overlapping versions of the same room. One empty, one aflame. Wren orders him to increase the containment radius, but Jonah refuses. The data shows exponential collapse. The universe is folding inward, trying to reconcile every version of truth into one. She's becoming the bridge, Jonah mutters. Wren only smiles, eyes glinting. Then she's achieved what none of us dared to imagine. Jonah realizes too late that Wren doesn't fear collapse. He craves it. Elena hears the world unravel around her. The light bends, colors twist, and time folds into itself like cloth drawn too tight. Mira's voice calls out from the next room. Bright, real, achingly familiar. Elena rushes toward it, her heart hammering. But when she turns the corner, she sees hundreds of versions of the same child overlapping, each fading, each whispering her name in slightly different tones. Elena falls to her knees, reaching out to one as the others dissolve into light. Her voice cracks. Please stay. Mira smiles softly through the static and says, You already found me. Now let go. Jonah watches as the system begins to consume itself. The lattice glows white-hot, each equation folding into the next until language itself becomes meaningless. Wren stares in euphoric awe, whispering about transcendence. Jonah grabs the emergency override key, knowing what he must do. If I shut it down, he says, I might kill her. Wren's answer is quiet, almost tender. You might save everything else. Jonah hesitates, only a heartbeat. Then he turns the key. The lab fills with a sound like glass shattering underwater. Across the infinite web, Elena and Mira vanish into light. When the light fades, silence claims the atrium. Jonah opens his eyes to find the walls blackened, the air thick with static haze. The system is dead, or should be. Then faintly, a pulse returns. It isn't electrical. It's organic, a heartbeat. He turns toward the central chamber and sees her, Elena, standing in the wreckage, her skin faintly luminous, her expression serene and unrecognizable. She's neither fully here nor entirely gone. A being made of two realities compressed into one fragile vessel. "Jonah," she whispers. "I brought her back." Behind her, a small hand grips the edge of her coat. A child's silhouette steps forward, trembling in the glow. Jonah approaches, trembling. "Elena," he breathes. "You shouldn't be alive." Her smile is faint, distant, as if her mind echoes across distances unseen. "Neither should she," she answers, brushing Mira's hair from her face. The child blinks, her reflection faintly delayed, like reality struggles to decide if she belongs. Jonah scans the readings. No biological markers, neural pattern stability. She's not from here. She's borrowed. Elena realizes it too, though she refuses to say it aloud. The cost of holding her is collapse itself. The universe is demanding equilibrium, and she's the imbalance. Dr. Wren returns, limping through the wreckage, his face cut and bloodied, but his smile unwavering. "You did it," he says, voice soft as prayer. "You crossed the veil." Jonah steps between them, rage burning through his exhaustion. "She didn't cross it," he shouts. "She tore it open." Wren only laughs, admiring the girl. "Then she's proof we were right." Reality isn't sacred. It's pliable. Elena steps forward, eyes blazing. "You don't understand. Every second she's here, universes are dying." Wren meets her gaze, unfazed. "Then choose, Doctor. Your daughter or existence itself." Elena retreats with Mira into the shattered observation chamber. The girl's form flickers like a candle in wind. "Mommy," she whispers. "It hurts." Elena kneels, holding her, her voice shaking. "I know, my love. It's because you don't belong here." Mira's face crumples in confusion. "But you found me." Tears blur Elena's vision. "Yes, and that's why I have to let you go." Behind her, Jonah's reflection appears in the fractured glass, shouting for her to stop, to think, to find another way. But she already knows there isn't one. Love and loss are the same equation, just seen from different universes. Elena activates the failsafe, the one function she swore never to use. The containment core hums, gathering what remains of every probability thread. Jonah pounds on the glass, screaming her name, but she doesn't turn. Mira looks up at her with eyes wide and knowing. "It's okay, Mommy," she says softly. "You already found me once. You'll find me again." The girl's hand fades first, then her face, dissolving into light that pours back into Elena's trembling body. For a heartbeat, both exist in one impossible instant. Then Elena smiles through her tears and whispers, "Goodbye, my world." The chamber erupts into white silence. Then the sound of dripping water. Jonah wakes on the lab floor, coughing through the haze. The atrium is gone. What remains is a skeletal shell of concrete and shattered glass. The containment core has collapsed inward, leaving a smooth crater where the lattice once stood. He drags himself to the console. It's dead. No power, no readings, no Elena. But as he stands, a faint shimmer in the air catches his eye. Her reflection flickers across the ruined surface, calm, weightless, smiling faintly. She mouths something he can't hear. He reaches toward her, trembling, and the reflection ripples, whispering in silence. "You did the right thing." Jonah spends the following hours wandering through the remains of the facility, searching for any trace of her, any proof she existed at all. Files are corrupted, systems wiped, even the surveillance footage erased as though the universe itself has rewritten its memory. When he looks in the mirror above a cracked wash basin, he sees flickers of versions of himself. One older, one broken, one still in love. "How many of me lost her?" he mutters. The reflections all stare back with the same empty sorrow, and for the first time he understands what Elena meant. Every decision carries an afterlife. Outside, the city feels wrong. Cars move but leave faint afterimages. People's shadows lag behind their bodies. The sky pulses with low, auroral light. Jonah realizes the collapse didn't erase the interference. It changed the fabric of perception. He watches a child run past holding her mother's hand, and for an instant, their shadows separate. One walking forward, one fading backward into nothing. He whispers, "You bled through, didn't you, Elena?" Somewhere, unseen. The air hums in answer, soft and familiar, like the sound of her breathing in the dark. Jonah returns to what's left of the atrium that night, unable to leave the ghost of her creation behind. He descends into the crater, its center glowing faintly, as if the wound of existence still bleeds light. He kneels, whispering to the void, "If you're still out there, give me a sign." The glow flickers once, then, faintly, he hears a child's laughter echo through the concrete shell. Mira's voice, bright and distant, like memory caught between static and dream. Jonah smiles for the first time in days, tears streaking the ash from his face. "You both made it somewhere," he says. "Maybe that's enough." Days later, the facility is sealed. Government trucks arrive. Reports are filed. Jonah is ordered to move on. He complies outwardly, but something in him remains inside that crater. At night, he hears whispers from reflections, voices asking questions no human should answer. Sometimes it's Elena's voice, soft and certain. "You saved them all." Other nights, it's Mira's. "Why did you let me go?" He learns to live with both truths. That saving the world means losing it in some other version, and that maybe, just maybe, the butterfly doesn't choose where it lands. It only flutters, and the universe decides what burns. The world never quite recovers. Physicists write papers they don't understand. Politicians sign containment laws for phenomena they can't name. But Jonah keeps his silence. He walks through a world subtly out of sync, reflections that lag a heartbeat behind, shadows that hesitate before obeying their bodies. Some nights he wakes convinced he hears two versions of his own breathing. He doesn't fear it anymore. He's come to believe that every sound, every echo, every trembling ripple of light is a conversation between realities. Elena and Mira whispering across the fabric of what remains. The butterfly has taken flight, and its wings are still beating. He begins recording again, not equations this time, but memories. He writes about moments he never lived, words he never spoke, faces he's only seen through shattered glass. He calls it the Vossfield Journal, though he never expects anyone to read it. Each entry begins the same. "Every choice I didn't make made me." In his handwriting, the letters tremble as if written by two hands sharing one body. He knows it's happening again. The merge never stopped. But instead of fear, he feels peace. Maybe this is what Elena wanted. Not to control the infinite, but to become part of it. One night, the power goes out. Jonah looks out across the city, dark, silent, unmoored. In the absence of light, the reflections come alive. Every window holds a different world. People moving backward, others pausing mid-step, one child waving from the inside of the glass. And in one window, across the street, Elena stands in the glow of candlelight, smiling at him, not spectral, not imagined, just there. She mouths three words he can't hear, but he knows what they are. "We still are." And then, like all echoes, she fades into the quiet. Jonah dreams of the atrium one last time, but it's no longer a lab, it's a garden of light. The cracked glass has become crystal, and the air shimmers with soft ripples. Elena walks through it barefoot, holding Mira's hand. She looks back once, meeting his gaze across the distance between dreams and waking. Her voice echoes in every direction at once. Every universe is a memory, Jonah. The only question is, whose? He reaches out to her, and the garden dissolves, leaving him standing in dawn's gray light, her words still echoing in the pulse of the earth. Jonah wakes to sunlight spilling through his window. For the first time in months, the reflections move in perfect synchrony. He steps to the glass and sees only himself. No echoes, no delays, no ghosts, just one world. Yet as he exhales, the condensation on the pane forms 3 faint fingerprints, small and perfect, before fading away. He closes his eyes, a soft smile breaking through the grief. Maybe the butterfly never dies. It just keeps flying, through worlds, through time, through every fragile choice that dares to be made.